how you drop in is very important in Fortnite, like it is in any battle royale game, because you get to decide the situation that you start off in. Getting off to a good start may help you set up to like be on track to win the game, and getting off to a bad start may straight up end your game or be like the beginning of the end. On screen here, I will have some spots that I like to drop in marked by a green circle, and the spots that I don't like to drop in at are marked by a green X. I like to avoid large areas like cities, the farms, the buildings around the lake, just any area that I feel like are too hotly contested or I don't feel is worth the risk of going there. I don't like to start off there. I like to set myself up for easy loot that I can just get myself, that there isn't generally going to be a lot of contention. Sometimes there will be people contesting me in these spots, but a lot of the times I get away with it scot-free. I don't like to go to populated areas very early on because there's a large chance that you might just get killed for something that you necessarily couldn't even control really. And you don't really, you may not even get a chance to do anything. You may not get a chance to run for cover or anything. You might just straight up die just because that's the situation you dropped into. You're also sharing all that loot with the other people there. Like, you're competing with all the loot in that area with all the other people that dropped there. So it's just statistically unlikely that you would make it out of there. If like 20 people drop into the same city and only one is able to come out of it and continue on in the game, it's just statistically unlikely. So I don't like to drop in less populated areas. You could if that's just what you wanted to do and like you wanted to have like fast action early on. But for me, I like to drop into less populated areas that I can have all the loot to myself, and that way I can have good loot to start with and I can set myself on track to hopefully win the game. Being in a less populated area also allows you to get resources very early on. You can cut down the trees to get wood, you can cut the rocks to get brick, or you can cut cars to get steel. Using these resources is very important in the late game. When the circle gets pretty small, there's not a lot of room for things, so a lot of people just build cover, and that's what I've been doing in the late game, and I've seen a lot of success since I've started just building these resources up in the early game, so I don't have to worry about it later on. You will find like the resources lying around, like bricks or steel, and you can just pick it up sometimes, but it's better to have a nice wide variety of resources to start off with. And if you have to build up to an area, or like say you want to build up to a mountain to get a chest or something, it's just good to have resources at your disposal. Even if you don't use them, it's better to have them and not use them than need them and not have them. When you're dropping in, you want to look for other players dropping in your area. You need to be aware of where they are, especially if they're going to the same building of you. That's obviously very important. But even if they're just dropping like down the road or to another building near you, you have to be aware of that because it's likely going to be the first person you fight, especially if they see you. Y'all are probably going to have a fight very early on. And even if you don't want to fight them, you need to be aware of where they're going just so you don't run into them and you don't get killed yourself. So pay attention when you're dropping, when you're getting close to the ground. Just look around you, see if there's anybody else dropping. Try to make a mental note of where they're going and then be aware of that once you hit the ground and you have gear. You need to learn where the potential chests are in the areas you like to drop in. These chests can give you a good amount of gear to start the game with. Generally, I think they give like a healing item, some ammo, and a weapon or two. So that's a good variety of things to start the game with, especially if there's a chest in your building and then like maybe some other guns in the building. So a nice variety of things. You also want to learn where the ammo boxes are in your buildings. Many buildings have ammo boxes underneath the stairs, and you can open these and potentially get a little bit more ammo to start off with. Ammo is going to be scarce sometimes, so it's nice to have ammo. Just get it when you can get it. Or where you can get it, rather. So when you drop into an area, you want to I like to try to drop into the same areas each time, or the same few areas, just depending on where the bus comes in at. Be aware of the chests that spawn in the area and where the ammo boxes are in that area, so you can take advantage of them. In the area I like to drop in, chests often spawn in the attic of the building, so I land on the roof in the building so I can just cut my way in and get it easily. This is also nice because I can get the loot quickly, and then maybe I can jump back on the roof if I know another person dropped in near me, or dropped down to the building across the street from me. I can just jump back on the roof and instantly kill them if I got something like an assault rifle, and it makes playing very easy. If you can get a gun quickly, because you're gonna want to get that chest anyway, so it's nice to start off on the roof just to get it. That way you don't have to build to it. But also this allows you to get back onto the roof easily in case you need to do something with that, like if you need to pick somebody off that dropped near you. Like I said, there's a few situations why you would want to do that, so it's nice to have access to the roof easy, and it just makes getting the chest easier. If no one else dropped in the area, I'll just drop down in the hole through the attic and then continue to loot the house that way. So just be aware of the chest spawn. If chests are often in the attic, just cut your way in. It's easier, and you'll be there faster. If you wait to land on the ground and then just walk through the house to get there, you're just wasting time that you don't need to be wasting. Be aware of the high populated areas around you. Like I said, I don't like dropping in on them, but you need to be aware of where they are and like the routes people will take out of that city, because that's likely to be where a lot of enemies will be coming from early on in the game. If there's a big city behind you and you aren't paying attention to that direction at all, it's very likely that you can get picked off very easily. You could die very quickly in this game, so you just want to be aware of where people are likely to be coming from. Obviously, you don't want a tunnel vision on just that area, but it's nice to be aware. I like to find a few spots around the map that work for me. That's what I do. So I think you should also find a few spots around the map that work for you, and then just become accustomed to starting the game in those areas if you want consistent success. Like I said, if you just want action, you could just drop right away each time, or drop into a spot each time and just see. But when you actually want to like consistently win games or consistently like be in the running of winning games, you want to have a consistent, easy start that you're used to. That way, it's just one consistent piece of your game. The game is kind of random at times, like with where the circle goes and where the loot spawns and what loot spawns. But if you're dropping into the same area each time, that's just going to be a consistent part of your game. That way you can focus on other things. That's going to do it for this video, guys. It's all the thoughts I have on dropping. There's more that to be discussed, obviously. Like, it's a very broad topic. It's kind of simple, but there's a lot to talk about. Where you go from your drop, it just comes down to, it's all just preference. Once you get more experience with the game and more experience in your drop area, you'll probably have more consistent mid game and hopefully a good late game. That's going to be it for this video all. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this and comment down below what Fortnite topic you would like to see me cover next.